All right, it is 4 a.m. and I just finished watching The Blue Beetle, the newest, is it or isn't it, part of James Gunn's DC universe. I'm leaning towards it isn't because Gotham University, Big Belly Burger, Superman, Batman, and The Flash are all mentioned in it. So I don't know. I think it might be like this is like a standalone one, sort of like Black Adam was almost. Um, it felt like it was made before, like when they still thought that the plan for the Flash was going to go through. I'm not sure. It's because I like this and I like it as a standalone movie too. It was cool to see, and it's in the trailers that the original Blue Beetle, Ted Cord, is part of the story, but he's not in the movie. Susan Sarandon plays his sister, and she has a vendetta because when their father died, gave Ted the company, and she was always angry about that. And then he became obsessed with this scarab that was given to him by an archaeologist who was the original Blue Beetle from the Charleston comics. And then DC acquired Charleston in the 1980s, and that's why when people watch this, they go, "This thing's a lot like the guy in Watchmen." And it's like, yes, because Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' original plan was to have all the characters that they acquired from Charleston comics to be the characters in Watchmen. So that's why the Blue Beetle is very much Night Owl. So that's in there. It's I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was fun. Um, it's it's funny, without being. Sometimes it goes a little too far into like Marvel movie territory, but for the most part, I think a lot of the jokes really work. George Lopez is sort of like the standout character, and my buddy Brian and I just watched it together, and we were like, "Oh, George Lopez, he's really funny in it. He's really, really good in it." The movie doesn't stray away from being serious when it has to be serious, and killing a lot of people in it too. The suit's great because it reminds me of the Guyver. And I was saying to my buddy, I was like, I'm glad that they didn't like CGI the suit. I mean, there is a lot of CGI in the movie, obviously. But like when he's actually wearing the suit, it's a practical effect, and that's really really cool. They didn't like Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern it or anything like that, or even like the Iron Man movies. He stopped wearing the suit, and it's all motion tracker. This movie does have a lot of Iron Man in it, a lot of Iron Man 2. Um, it introduces the Omax, which I thought was really, really cool, but kind of they wasted Maxwell Lord and Brother Eye in the fucking terrible Wonder Woman 84 movie. And they way over designed the Omax. The Omax are really cool in the comics, and they sort of look like Gears of War Metroid in this, like they're combined. Eh. Susan Sarandon, who I usually love and stuff, is very one note in this movie. She's kind of playing like the billionaire bad guy character, and a lot of her lines and stuff are very stock. Uh, Fantastic synth score. Some really good interplay between the family. The movie has a lot of heart in it, and I read that in some articles, and I was just like, all right, because they're a Mexican family. And yeah, sometimes it gets a very sappy, but for the most part, I really like the interplay between these characters. Grandma is fucking amazing. Her Mexican revolutionary past, when you get to that, like, I want a Mexican grandma with a big fucking sci-fi gun, action figure. James Gunn, get on that. There's some really fun stuff in this movie. Again, it has those notes where it's, oh, okay, that was in Iron Man, that was in Iron Man 2. But there is some really cool stuff in there. Just seeing the Ted Cord, the bug ship and the beetle ship and the his suit in the thing. I was like, oh, that's really cool, and that meant that there was an Age of Heroes in the 80s in whatever timeline this is, which I think is neat. He has one of his weapons is the power glove, but it's like it's got the ability to turn into like a big like like laser fist and stuff like that. I wanted them at one point to say, "I love this. It's so bad," or now I'm playing with power or something like that. But they're not as big a hacks as me. Um, yeah, I don't know. This was fun, and it's a little too long, and it does have some times where it gets a little too me familia type of stuff in it. But for the most part, I think that's good because you don't really get the Hispanic angle in these kind of stories. And when they're telling about how they got to this country and how they have to work and the dad and all that kind of stuff, like it makes sense that you would have, they need their own hero too. And but in the end, it was like the dad was really the hero because he's the one who kept the family together all those years. Um, the other villain who is like this guy who was he was a child soldier who's been like experimented on. I don't know. He looks like buff Ben Kingsley in the movie. I don't know. I think that another one of those like Marvel tropes of a bigger version of the hero. I didn't need that again. There's a really good boner joke in the movie. Really fun soundtrack. It's mostly Mexican music. There's a Mexican cover of the Jackson Five's "Blame It on the Boogie," which is one of my favorite songs ever. So I thought that was kind of funny. Um, yeah, I don't know. I liked it, and but I don't think anybody's going to see this movie. That's the thing. I think that people are so confused by what DC is doing right now that they're probably going to stay away from it, which is too bad because I like this one way more than Black Adam. And Flash I liked, but that one failed miserably. It was weird too that the attached trailer, because I built this movie earlier, and there's no Aquaman trailer yet, and I was like, isn't that like the next big movie for them? And there's no trailer for it. We got the Wonka trailer, which I thought was pretty good, but I thought Paddington and Paddington 2 were great, so I'm excited about it because that director. Uh, Great colors in this movie too. There's this fantastic neon kind of vibe to things, and a very like you get a lot of colors that you would associate with like Hispanic culture in it. I used to live in Tucson, so I'm a huge fan of all of that. Uh, I don't know what else. What else am I leaving out? I'm very tired. I've been working since 10 a.m. and I'm still here. Um, what else am I leaving out? Score was great. The colors were great. Cinematography was really good. CGI had more weight to it, but I also liked that so much of it was like stunt work because there's a lot of stuntmen in the end credits. And that it was a dude in a practical suit, and I thought the suit looked great. Again, going back to the idea of I'm a big fan of the Guyver. I love Guyver 2 more, and this had a lot of that in it. And when he transforms the first time, it's like body horror almost, And I just like how they don't want him to have his shirt off because they keep having to look at how the scarab dug into his back, and it's like really gross. I don't know. It was fun. I hope it does well. I would love to see this character come back and bring back Ted Cord because he's still alive, but he's missing. And then because then you could bring in Booster Gold as well, and I'd love to fucking see Booster Gold in a movie. It reminds me of one of my favorite Justice League Unlimited episodes, which was the greatest story never told, where he saves he has this adventure, but no one will ever know about it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I Blue Beetle is an interesting character because he was, as they say in this movie, when they're looking at all of his tech, they're like he's Batman with a sense of humor, and a lot of his stuff looks like it was made like with ADHD. And that's kind of the same thing with Night Owl. Like he had all this money and he just created all these things because he was obsessed with Archimedes, the owl, and all that. Um, yeah, it was cool. I liked it, and I don't know. There's really not much to say. I don't know where this fits into DC Comics movies going forward. Um, I don't know if regular audiences are going to get behind it. I hope it does well in the Hispanic community. Um, I don't know. It had a lot of fun little things of like growing up and having friends that were from South America and such. Like there was a lot of little things that I remember them, them telling me about or seeing when I would sleep over their houses and stuff like that. That I thought was really fun, and again, the grandma is an amazing fucking character, and you know. George Lopez. Who would have thought that he would have been so strong in this movie? They call him the Mexican Doc Brown. Ted Kord's daughter is a main part of it. She's kind of the one who sets the story all in motion. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away. I've been talking for 10 minutes, but I dug it. I think it's definitely worth checking out. But again, this summer has made no fucking sense. People didn't go see Indiana Jones. People didn't go see The Flash. People didn't go see Mission Impossible. Barbie was real. Nobody saw the Ninja Turtles. Barbie was really the only thing that like popped off. So I don't know what to think about movies anymore. I don't. Nothing matters anymore. So I say go check out Blue Beetle. And well, again, because they already used Ted Kord and Brother Eye, we'll never get the story where Wonder Woman snaps Ted Kord's neck and Blue Beetle gets shot in the fucking head. It was like trying to remember what that storyline was called. It was like Identity Crisis or something, and then it turned out at the end it was Ray Palmer's wife like shrunk down and like stepped on someone's brain to cover up like that they had the Justice League like mind wiped Batman because Dr. Light raped somebody. Zatanna did it. Brad Meltzer, I think was his name, wrote it. I remember having that story when I was at the comic book store, and they made Blue Beetle like super cool in that story. I was like, oh, he's obviously gonna die, and sure enough, yeah, he gets shot in the fucking head. And then they brought in this new Blue Beetle, the kid who is Blue Beetle in this movie, in like the New 52. So that would have been like 2006 or 7. I remember when he came out. You know what else this movie reminded me of? Star Kid, the terrible sci-fi kids movie with Tim from Jurassic Park, where he like climbs inside of like an alien robot. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, Star Kid, and then all the Iron Man stuff, and it hits all the notes, you know. But yeah, so I don't know. Check it out. I'm gonna go home because I have no idea what I'm talking about anymore, and I'm exhausted. So have a good one, guys.